Hi, y'all. Let's talk about Kristy Leigh Yates. She was known as extremely friendly with a lot of friends. Some remember her as always smiling. She was known as a blue-eyed, freckled-faced teenager who liked to wear blue jeans and white kid tennis shoes. She loved roller skating, swimming, hanging at the lake, hanging at the mall. She liked music and dancing around the house. She played basketball. She loved to draw. Her favorite color was yellow, and she loved sunflowers. And a poodle that she adored. His name was Charco. She was a big sister and a protector of her family. She wanted to be a doctor when she grew up, but that chance was taken from her on April 26th of 1997. She had just turned 15 years old. She was born on March the 30th of 1982. She was being raised by her father, Gordon Yates. Her parents had divorced when she was young. Her estranged mother, Dana Conyers, had spoken to Kristy before she disappeared. Kristy asking her mother if she could stay with her. Her mother telling her no. Her father, Gordon Yates, a single dad, along with 3 other siblings, home, with Kristy being the oldest and her sister Deanna next in line. He had 2 younger ones, not yet in preschool. They had just lost their stepmom the summer before in a drowning accident. So Gordon had his hands full. Grief, 4 kids, and a job. I can't imagine. His family was definitely already going through it. Kristy was starting to skip school, sneak out, things like that. Gordon says his daughter was a good kid. Had been sent to a counseling center for 3 months that fall. It had been court-ordered to a place in northern Arkansas. Her father, Gordon, was motivated to send her by the rape of one of her friends, who would also run away into the night. After the 3 months and Kristy had returned home, things seemed better until she began the new school. Things just seemed to return to the old pattern, the skipping of school. She was seeing a counselor and had been to Summit School in Hot Springs, an alternative school for troubled kids. Kristy had only been skipping school. She was not violent, and she was not on any drugs. These kids were there for bad behavior, for violence, drugs, things like that. Her father was not happy about her being sent to this alternative school. Father Gordon would leave for work before the 2 young girls would leave for school. He would always call home and make sure they were ready for school. Kristy had other plans that Thursday, not going to school. I don't know about y'all, but I also skipped school as a teenager. When her father Gordon comes home, he is alarmed. She is not home. She would skip school, but she always would come home. Her dad begins to call people. He calls her caseworker, told him, "Don't worry, she will be back." Or just go and look for her and tell her friends, go to their homes, threaten them, tell them you're going to prosecute them for hiding her. So her dad does just that. He does what the counselor suggests he does. Kristy never comes home that night. Friday night rolls around, still no Kristy and no phone call. She calls no one. Not her grandmother, no one. Saturday, and a hard rain comes. Kristy's father Gordon is watching TV and he hears the Garland County Sheriff's Office say they have found a woman's body in the 1300 block of Sleepy Valley Road. But the description does not match Kristy's. They listed this victim much older. But Kristy was considered older. She looked older for her age. She was bigger. He phones local authorities and tells them about his daughter not coming home. They come to his home and bring photos to ID this person that has been found. Sure enough, it is his precious daughter, Kristy Leigh Yates, a 15-year-old kid. It's found around noon at an abandoned quarry. There are not much details that have been released on her cause of death. All we know is it was a brutal and violent murder. It had came a hard rain in the area, so a lot of evidence had been washed off. Authorities traced her to the mall in Hot Springs, Arkansas. She had been seen there arguing with a female at the mall by a worker of the mall. Police did numerous interviews and they've had no luck. The FBI is now involved in solving Kristy's murder. The FBI has went to the media To bring some light to the case, a reward has been offered of $25,000, and her family is offering $10,000 for information that leads to the arrest and conviction for the person or persons that are responsible for Kristy's murder. Some believe that Kristy was not murdered at the scene she was found at, but that she was murdered and placed at this abandoned quarry. She was still in the clothes and jewelry that she had left the house in on that Thursday morning when she was supposed to be going to school. Some believe she was lured off and murdered. Some believe it was more than one person due to the violence of her murder. This took place in 1997 in Hot Springs, Arkansas. If you were in that area of Hot Springs or at the mall, if you have heard anything about Kristy Yates' murder, please do the right thing and come forward. You can remain anonymous. This is the murder of a child, a sibling, a grandchild. This has altered the lives of so many people. It has been almost 26 years, and Kristy Leigh Yates, who was only a child, deserves justice. If you have any information, please call the FBI. You can remain anonymous, 501-221-9100. Do you recall who Kristy was hanging with? Do you recall if any other children skipped school that day? Do you recall who was at the mall with her? Do you recall who was driving her around from place to place? What was the talk in the school hallways? What was the rumors? Do you recall anyone with bruises or scratches from that time period? Did anyone see or hear from Kristy on that Thursday or Friday? From school, from Summit or Hot Springs Middle School or Cutter Morning Star? Kristy's mother and stepfather are now deceased, but maybe you recall them remembering something that might help. Jackie Durrell, a private investigator, has Kristy's story posted on her Facebook page, and she believes that the killer or killers are still in the Arkansas area. Some say it's like those responsible left a calling card of sorts. The location where Kristy was found, speaking for itself, it's not too far off the road, maybe 200 feet. You can drive down Sleepy Valley and you can drive in there. That's probably where people have partied or parked before, is what Kristy's father, Gordon, thinks. Also, the fact that it's not a random sexual predator passing through, but someone she knew that had been to this out-of-the-way location before. They also say there is so much more to this story, but that they cannot share it to protect the integrity of this investigation for future prosecution of Kristy's killer or killers. Law enforcement needs to keep the details within its ranks. But make no mistake, this is an active, not cold case of Kristy Leigh Yates. Y'all stay safe out there, and thank you for listening.